I'm Crystal Faulkner with the CPA and Business Advisory firm of Cooney, Faulkner and Stevens. We're here today with Rick Colby. Rick's the Dean of the Haile U.S. Bank College of Business at Northern Kentucky University. And Rick, you've only been here for about 8 months, but you've had a significant impact on the business school at NKU, especially the master's, the MBA program. Maybe you can talk about what's going on and why you're so passionate about some of the modifications.
Well, I think the MBA program is a really important program for a college of business. We have to be out in front, and there's lots of competition. There's a lot of places that are offering MBAs from storefronts to very high-end schools. And so we want to differentiate ourselves from the competition, but also be engaged with the business community as a result of that. One of the things we've been told for many years is that MBA programs really need to have the soft skills side built into it as well as the analytical side in. And so our program integrates all of that so the students get an integrated knowledge of business.
And what I think is so wonderful about the MBA program at Northern Kentucky University is the way you actually go into businesses and you talk to them about what kind of skill sets they need. And then you actually allow your students to go into the businesses as well, don't you?
Right. So integrated into the program will be 2 parts, two semesters where the students will actually work with real businesses.
And from a business community standpoint, it's just critical because our next leaders, our next business leaders are the students at the great universities that we have here in our region, including Northern.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we want to be the school that leads and has the great students who come into the program. So that's a really critical thing for us.
Well, Dean Colby, I'll tell you, as a parent of a junior in high school, I'm very conscious of the skyrocketing costs of college education, and we're going to continue that conversation about some ideas that you have how to contain those costs, make it not so painful for students and their family when we continue our conversation on WCPO.com.
Okay.
So let's talk about that, because that is a big issue for people. I have a son who is actually about 9 years older than my daughter, who's a junior in high school, and it seems like, and maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but it does seem like that college costs have really gone up in the last few years.
Yeah, I think we have to make sure we're talking about the same things though sometimes, because one of the things is the university budgets really haven't increased. The big difference has been that universities have 3 sources of money. We have money that comes in from student tuition, we have money that comes in from state support, and we have money that comes in from grants and from endowments. And on the one side, we have the states are not supporting as much as they used to. When we were going to school, there's a lot more money coming from states to support the universities. And endowments, the money that comes from that are troublesome because the investments of the stock market has been going bad, and so that has reduced the amount of money that comes there. And grants are becoming less available, and there's more competition for grants. And so the cost structure that we have, the actual revenue coming in, is staying about the same. But what has to happen is that the student tuition piece gets larger and larger to make up the difference where those other 2 areas are not performing as well.
So what ideas do you have for students and families to really fill that gap, to make it not so burdensome so that students can still get college education?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think there's many facets to it. I mean, one of the things is that universities are, at one level, universities are required to do a lot of things. So we're expected to provide great dorms. We're expected to provide other ancillary things, great food, exactly, as well as things like gymnasiums and sports facilities. So schools are doing that. We're building those things for the students and charging fees for all that service. So that's part of the issue. So part of it is driven by the market. And then there's other things that people can do that need to facilitate the process as well. For example, one of the schools I was reading about recently looked at how many hours a student took to graduate. While it says that a student requires 120 hours to graduate, many of their students had 139 hours to graduate. As a result, they're paying more tuition than what really they needed to do.
Well, do you think that's because it seems like there's a trend these days for students to have multiple majors when they graduate? Yeah. Do you advise that?
Well, we like to have students have multiple majors, but a lot of times what happens, what causes that is actually the fact that students switch majors. And the system's not set up so they take their freshman classes if they're going to be in nursing, and then all of a sudden decide, well, I want to be in business. Well, unfortunately, the courses they took as freshmen usually don't count for that program.
Well, what about relationships that you might have with community colleges or that type of program where the student could actually attend that type of school for a year or 2 and then transfer?
That's going to be the model. it really is going to be going forward. That's going to be the issue that we're going to have, where students will probably take a lot more courses at junior colleges and community colleges and then transfer to us. And we're set up to handle that, and we want to have articulation agreements to make sure that the classes match up perfectly. So the students who's in those programs really has the capacity to move in and start right away without having to take a whole bunch of other courses and complete it with another 60 or so hours in 2 years.
You know, having, again, a son who's recently graduated with his MBA, I'm very conscious of the ability for students to get student loans. And what's fascinating to me as a CPA and a financial advisor is that often you can get student loans easier than you can get credit cards, thousands of dollars of student loans. You have to be careful about that.
It's really a very big issue. You know, and students often want to still have the luxuries. You know, they're not going to pare things down. So it's easy to take on the student loans to pay for my tuition, pay for my other things, you know, but then I also have to have a car, I also have to have the cell phone with all the features and bells and whistles on it, and I incur all this debt. And the money mounts up pretty fast, and a $30,000 debt coming out of school takes a long time to pay out.
And you know, that type of debt is not dischargeable in a bankruptcy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's something that student's going to have for the rest of their life. So the advice there is just to be very careful before you enter into those kinds of transactions.
Yeah. It's always amazing to me. I hear some of my friends say, you know, I'm hoping to pay off my student loans before my children go off to college. And I think we have to recognize that that amount of money is really consequential, because then you're still going out, you want to buy a car post-graduation, you're thinking about at some point in time getting in, you know, at least renting, but then buying a house, and you incur more debt, which is always problematic.
You know, we talked earlier, Dean, about the MBA program and how you've become very innovative in your approach to the MBA and really providing that kind of education to graduate students. What other trends do you see occurring both at Northern Kentucky University as well as other universities here in our region?
I think that one of the big and very interesting things that's going to happen is the whole idea of blending online learning with in-class learning. I think that's going to be a big deal, because there's some efficiencies that can be had for the universities, but also I think there's some depth of knowledge that can occur. When students have the opportunity to learn online, to see the material, review it over and over again as they want to, at the times they have available to do it, I think it can be a very useful way of learning specific types of material. And then when they come to class, the issue is to reinforce that material, give them hands-on exercises, and interact with their colleagues, so that there's peer learning and there's team building and all those types of extras which you have to do in person. But the research is really telling us that hybrid type of learning like that is going to be very powerful. And I think that's where we're going to go. That's what we've built into the MBA program. But I see that happening more and more at the undergraduate level as well.
Well, and it seems like it could be very cost efficient too, and actually drive costs down at the university level.
Absolutely, absolutely. And possibly service more students, which is a good thing. So we could drive our costs down, serve more students, and don't compromise on the quality of the educational experience. That's the key to all this, because we can do a lot of things in a lot of different ways, but we have to keep our eye on the ball. That quality of education is really the key point.
And if someone wants to learn more about the MBA program or the business school at Northern Kentucky University, how can they obtain that?
Well, I'd like them to look at the mba.nku.edu and find all the information about the program there.
Dean, thank you so much, Dean Colby at Northern Kentucky University. I really appreciate your time and all the information.
Well, thank you, Crystal.